In this video, we're going to talk about what is the cross-sector virtual exercise. From the diagram, you can get a high-level overview of the participants, the process, and the deliverables that come out of the exercise. So first of all, what is it? It's a virtual exercise. It's conducted in a virtual format so that people from around the country can attend as observers or attend as participants and be part of a facilitated discussion. Second, it connects operators, operations professionals in industry and government who are typically involved in a hurricane or some regional disaster. The big idea is to get them to know each other through the exercise, become part of a planning process, and build trust over the years so that this community grows as a response recovery planning cycle continues. Next, it enhances resources and tools. Nobody knows everything, and every year the exercise exposes new tools, new data sets, new participants that are in their job because of an election or turnover or whatever. But it enhances resources by building the community larger, which increases the pool of resources and tools. Next, it synchronizes processes and information. In this government and industry world, industry many times cannot effectively enhance or improve their contingency plans, their business continuity plans, all the plans they have to make if they don't know what the state and local governments are doing. Conversely, states and local governments need to know after a disaster, what's broken? What's the status of key facilities? Who are the people we need to contact? What's the process we need to use to expedite comms or fuel or power or things restoration like that? So synchronizing the information from a situational awareness standpoint is very key. And lastly, the exercise was really designed around building a framework for crisis response. Many times it's the same activities that go on during a crisis. Doesn't matter. People need documentation, they need information, they need situational awareness. The exercise knows this based on the consortium's 18 years experience in working with states and industry and all of our working groups that are staffed by hundreds of volunteer state and industry liaisons. We know these patterns. And the exercise is really aimed at drawing out those 6 key areas of information that we know are going to be part of every crisis response. So the cross-sector exercise is really just that. It's a cross-sector discussion. Typically in an exercise, you focus on plans, you put in injects to test the plans. Well, in this cross-sector, multi-regional world, there aren't many plans, if any. So it's really based on information and discussion. And you develop a playbook based on that over time. So first up, you've got the players of the exercise are on the left side. You've got in the center, you've got the exercise and kind of what it's going to focus on. And then on the right, you have the outputs of the exercise. So the private sector is big on results, actionable solutions you can put in place tomorrow after the exercise. So let's talk first about the players. So who are the players? Well, the state emergency operations centers and their private sector liaisons were the ones who came up with this idea to do this across a region. The use case they focused on was hurricane, because pretty much you can count on those every year. Then the second group is the private sector. And that is a cross-sector audience of electric, transportation, food, pharma, communications, fuel, rail, water, retail. There's a number of them. There's more than it's on the slide here. But it's to get all of those people we know every year are involved in these hurricanes in some way, shape, or form. Then following them are the trade and associations that are part of this, right? All these groups, these companies belong to some type of associations or trade groups that help out, most of them, during an exercise or during a real event with information. They keep tabs of the people. They provide brokerage between getting this group connected with that group. They provide valuable information, and they are working these relationships year-round. So having them at the table is really important for sustainment. More importantly is trade and association groups can get information quickly and disseminate it to sometimes thousands of people in an instant. So they're important players in the big picture for a real storm. And then the last group are the federal government agencies, right, which are always going to be involved in a big hurricane or a big crisis. FEMA, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, the Protective Security Advisors with DHS are already in the field year-round working with private sector. They're important players in this. DHS, CISA, certainly, DOE, and there's other ones that participate, NASA, and NOAA, and Army Corps of Engineers, and there's a lot of agencies involved. The idea is to have them at the table because they need to be able to listen in to the process discussion, to the information needs of the private sector. They need to be able to help fill in the blanks on the contact side, and they have information that's shareable as well. So it's important that the federal agencies are involved, the operational side of those agencies are involved, because at the end of the day, they play a role in this as well. So then there's the exercise itself. It's been specifically designed to focus on processes the states and industry use to do certain things, to make certain decisions on certain actions. The systems they use, particularly we zero in on Esri and Teams, right? Those seem to be the systems that can transport information ubiquitously across sectors. There's others, but we focus on those. It focuses on the information needs based on each phase. So for example, during a before discussion, industry needs certain information from government before landfall. And then after landfall, government needs information from industry. So they've zeroed in on 6 areas, 3 for government, 3 for industry during this exercise. There's many, many more, but let's get these 6 down cold, and that will streamline a lot of the information flow and help coordinate the operations going forward and expedite the response. It'll focus on contacts, right? One of the biggest issues that people don't know who to call during Blue Sky Day. So the exercise will drive out the contacts at states, at companies, and what have you, and all the players and participants will be part of the contacts of community, right? We'll all be part of the playbook and the community and the contacts, right? And then the last thing we've got is what data is shareable. Every year we do the exercise, we find a new partner that has information no one knew about that could be made shareable if it was adjusted accordingly, or that is shareable already. This is the whole point of the exercise, is to continue to drive out information needs and then find those information sources, bring them together, and boom, you've got a solution. And there's thousands of these opportunities here. We just focus in on 6. But within those 6, there's a couple hundred alone right there. And then lastly, we look at the outputs of the cross-sector exercise. So the first one is we are borrowing a playbook, a page from the playbook in the electric sector, where we create a playbook from the exercise and we improve it every year. The playbook will include a number of things, right? The first one are the processes. What are the processes the states or locals use to make decisions and distribute declarations and waivers? They're the number one domino that has to drop for things to move smoothly. What are the processes for executive orders, for curfews, for contraflow, for other things the states may choose to do during a disaster or hurricane that private sector may not understand? It's important people understand every state has a different process, and it's important to know these processes so that you can adjust your planning and all of your plans accordingly. Okay. The second piece is a contact directory. There's an operations contact directory within the SISE that is updated after every exercise. Right now it's over 300 contacts, federal, state, local, and industry. And it's designed to allow people to find each other during Blue Sky or Dark Sky Day. And it's managed by the private sector. So this will be available to government. It's all designed to connect people quickly and avoid email, avoid a lot of wasted, chasing people down. Then there's a data library. This is one of the reasons we've gone to the Esri platform, is there's a lot of data that's in there. Transportation, weather, resource data, who rents or provides this resource, right? Porta potties, porta showers, fuel distributors. There's all kinds of stuff in this data library that's updated every year after hurricane season, and certainly after the exercise. Then there's tools and resources, right? There's always new tools and resources. This year is different from last year. There's access to those things that will come through the playbook. And then there's new use cases that are to be developed. Every time you focus on a problem, it gives birth to 2 or 3 other problems. We call them use cases, and we have a 6-step process we use to solve or drive out solutions for each one of these use cases. And every storm, every disaster brings up some new ones, and we inventory those to be worked on by the working group. So in summary, that's what the cross-sector exercise is about. It brings together a number of different sectors. It focuses on information, processes, systems, needs, people, and shareable data. And then it produces a playbook that documents this stuff, and they can use that going forward until the next exercise.